I still get nervous to vlog in public when people are potentially watching. But we're at the park again. Barstow Unified School District. Anyways, I was looking at my notes because I was like, I have a lot of ideas that I still haven't gotten to. Actually, I think I've done most of them, but there's always more. You know what I mean? But there was, I'm like, what should I talk about? I wanted to chit chat. Misa's chit chats. What should I call this? Do I have to put a title on it? Well, it's because I already know what this is because I said it was going to be a TED Talk. Jimmy's going up to the workers. They're digging a hole. And she goes over there. Anyways, I wanted to do a TED Talk for the girlies that are afraid to drive. I told y'all I was going to do it. I'm going to do it now. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if we were older? If I could stick this on the tree and I could just stand there. Anyways, no. Let's do this. It's because I just don't want to hold the phone. I always do this. Okay, for the girlies. 111 on the timer. I don't really know where to start. Let's talk about myself because that's the easiest way to do it. Also, my nails are really fucked up. I have to soak them. I have to take them off. I also have to do my toenails. Anyways, I'm trying to think back to like what I told Socorro when we like did talk about this, because it feels like so long ago that I was someone that was like really afraid to drive. But there's an ant on me. Oh my god. Anyways, oh, I needed that crack. I got cracked, mind you. Okay, it's because it all starts from the very beginning when you like learn how to drive, the introduction. Actually, it starts before then, because maybe here's a question for the culture, for the girlies that are afraid to drive, that are anxious drivers. Were you in a car accident when you were a little kid, when you were a little girl? Is that what happened? Because that's what happened to me. That's why I was so afraid. I was in like first or second grade. We were in a really bad car accident. Here I go. I always have to give the details, but like I just have to. But like my mom's niece. So then what would she be to me? I still don't know like the relation. But she was in the front seat. She actually broke her neck. And when I like Chico's here and Jamie's here. When I like realized that when I was older, I was like, what? Because obviously when I'm little, I don't really know what the hell is going on. But like, she could have died. Like there's a lot of things in that. But that's how it was. And also because I have mentioned this, like my mom was very afraid, obviously, because we were undocumented. So and it just added another layer of like my mom was already terrified of the police. So then to be in this accident, I don't remember what happened after. I don't even remember going to the hospital really. I just remember that she stayed with us for a while after that. And I've had so many thoughts since then, so I'm like, holy crap. But the only thing that I do remember about this, obviously, because I'm really young at this time, let's say that I'm like 5 years old. I always just say that I'm 5 because I have talked about this in therapy, is that like my mom's niece is, because she's not, what is she? In my head, she's like a prima, but I don't know if that's like the correct term, but she's family, you know? She has a daughter, and she was next to me in the car, and she's like a baby. She's a baby. And all I remember is like when the accident happened is that I like putting like my hand is like the instinct to like protect her of like the baby's got to be okay. Like we got to protect the baby. We got to save the baby. You know, and it's just crazy work because I think that's just like human. But I remember my therapist said that to me of like, it's kind of like nuts to like have had that thought when you're like so young, like because when you're in this accident, like I wasn't thinking about myself like kind of at all. I was thinking about the baby. And then that's when she like told me that whole thing of like I'm a mama bear, because I at this time when I started therapy, I was very triggered by the thing that had happened at work. So then it was the first time that anybody had ever seen me in this way or had told me that I had a mama bear instinct or that I was very protective. And I was like, that's what that is. Like, it made no sense to me. It almost kind of like pissed me off because I was like, that's not what that is. But I guess that is what that was. Obviously, now that I know myself more and like everything that's been going on with like the kids and stuff, I'm like, that is really making sense because like I just can't help it. That's kind of how it should be as like humans, and especially as a woman. Like, duh, of course I'm gonna be protective of a child. But anyways, at that time I'm a little girl. So anyways, that car accident happens. I'm really fucking spooked. I'm really anxious. And then when it comes time to drive, well, maybe this had something to do with it too, because my sister, she didn't get her driver's license until she was like a legal resident, I think. So that was like way later. And she did it like balls to the wall. I remember that. Like, I think she got her license, and then like the next day she was like on the freeway, and I was like, what the? But because she was so over it, she had been like riding the bus, I think, to like get to work, and she was like, fuck this. And honestly, that did inspire me, because fast forward a little bit, when I'm working and I have to go on these home visits, and I have to go to because I lived in the West Valley, and when I would have to drive all the way to the East Valley, I think I did it one time. I went on the streets all the way to Mesa, and I was like, yeah, fuck that. It took me like probably like an hour and a half, maybe more. Honestly, like, it doesn't take that much longer, but like it does. And it just felt like forever. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? I was like, I'm just gonna go on the freeway. And it required me to go on the 17. And I was like, I don't want to go on the 17 because I know it's like the deadliest, like top 5 deadliest highways. But this is what I told Socorro about how I did this, is that whenever I would be, passenger princess, whenever I would be on the passenger side, I would just think of how like calm it actually is sometimes when because sometimes the 17 is chill as fuck. You know what I mean? Well, like, obviously I prefer me the 101 because it's like right there, you know what I mean? And that's like home base. But anyways, let's not get distracted. Sometimes the 17 can be really chill. Like, I notice that people actually sometimes drive like chill. I don't know. So I would tell myself that like it's actually it's tranquilo. So then I could actually go on there to actually do it. So then that time that I had to go back to the East Valley, I had to go back to Mesa. I did it. I got on the 17. I remember it. I got on the 17 by myself, and I was like, holy shit, I'm doing it. I'm like, just be calm, stay chill. My TED Talk was supposed to start with me telling you about how, like, when I was learning to drive with my dad, because, we did the whole thing where we went to the parking lot. It's just because, like, I had a lot of anxiety, right? So, like, when I hit the curb, inevitably, I was just going to do that. I started crying. I burst into tears because that whole thing of, like someone's life is in my hands. Like, I was just so terrified of like accidentally killing somebody. And I guess that's where that came from. I didn't even realize that until now, that like when I was driving afterwards, I would always be terrified that I'm gonna hit a child, that I'm gonna kill a child with the car, because that ended up coming up in therapy out like later, way later on. And my therapist was like pushing me to like not, how like you compulsively check your mirrors and you're just like, oh my god, like, where's the child, like, where's how, like, and she was like, try not to check it 10,000 times. And I was like, really? I'm like, okay, I didn't hit the child, like, that is what it is, like I didn't, but anyways, that's like tied to all of it too, because I'm going all over the place. But it's just context, because I think it does help to realize why it is that you're so anxious and so nervous to drive. I should have asked Socorro, because we did talk about this. Sorry, Socorro, I'm kind of spilling your tea, but just saying about how like you in Japan, it's like a whole nother thing. I kind of don't want to bring it up because it's going to be like a whole nother story, and I don't want to like confuse it because it's very different. It's a whole nother thing in Japan out there. But just for the girlies. So what would I say to a girly? Let's say that I'm talking to someone right now and you're at the age where you're wanting to, it's because it's so many things. That's what it was. It was a lot of shame, because like I was like, when did I actually start driving? Well, because I was like at that job. So then I was like 22, 23 when I actually got on the freeway. Because like when you're a girly that's afraid to drive, you're not going on the freeway, and then it just makes life more difficult, and then it's like a pain in the ass to like get to anywhere. And then sometimes like you have to like ask people to like, are you don't want to, but you kind of have to, for like the ride. And then it's like that feeling of like you're a burden. And I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore, like it's a pain in the ass. And then also for work, like that's why I did it, because I was like, I have to go on the fucking freeway, I just have to do it. And then life became much easier, because then you can go fucking anywhere. And then to like even drive to California by myself, I was like, dang, I never thought that I would do that. And then when I was talking to my dad on the phone about it, I remember he was like, oh my gosh, like, because my first like road trip here we go. I drove to Vegas one time for a friend's wedding, and that was only, I was gonna say 2 hours, but that's not true, right? From Phoenix, it's only like 4, or it is 4 hours. I was really spooked. I borrowed my mom's car that time. And then I remembered that when I was coming back, I think I was worried about the air in the tire because the car was telling me that it needed to have air. And then like I was like at the machine and I was like, fuck, I don't really know how to do this. So I was trying my best. And then this man came up to me and then I was like, I could like, you know, look at this a certain type of way, but I was like, but he genuinely is trying to help me, and era mi gente latino, so I was like, thank you, like seriously, because like I really do need the help. So thank you to that man that did help me. What was my point with that? Oh yeah, that was my first road trip. And then when I drove to Barstow that first time, because I'm like freaking the fuck out and I'm like, I just need to see my family, I need to see my cousins, I do the road trip out here, and that is 6 hours, which mind you, I'm gonna do that road trip again. It kind of well, I was gonna say it kind of sucks. It's not that bad, but it is obviously a lot harder to do like the drive like by yourself, to do it on your own. But it's also nice too, because like then you just have so much time to think. So then it's like I'm gonna listen to my podcast, I'm gonna listen to my music, I'm gonna sing to my heart's content, as I always do. It's been a minute though, because like I'm so into YouTube and I'm just like watching. It's because like I've been bringing this up too. I obviously have to be inspired. You have to be inspired when you're like doing all this stuff, but then also it's like kind of this thing of like I don't want to watch other people's content, because like I just want to do my own thing. Like I don't want to feel like I'm stealing. That's what it is. I really do have a big thing with this. I should have brought this up yesterday to Alexis, link down below, about all of the ideas and stuff. But it is this thing, like I also felt that when I was at my internship, where I was like, I just feel like I'm like stealing, like this doesn't feel right. I would always like have this thing with that. And my supervisor was like, that's what these things are for, so you can use them and make your life easier. And also like when it comes to inspiration, like that's kind of the point of sharing your art, is to inspire other people to do things. Where was I going with that? What was the point of that whole thing? There's still something else that needs to come out. What is it? I don't think I actually did like the TED Talk. So let's just say this. What can I tell you? Okay, yeah, I'm sitting with a girly pop. It's because I don't know the audience. I don't know the age. Are you like a girl that's in high school and you're like afraid to drive, or are you like a grown-ass adult woman that's like afraid to drive? I think I'm speaking to the grown-ass adult, because like you kind of need me to like tell you, because I was there for a long time. But what I could really say is, first of all, don't listen to like your family members that are like kind of sick of you, because they're like, just do it already, and like that doesn't help at all. What you need to know is that, kind of like what I said earlier, just envision that the drive is going to be tranquis. Do like a short little route that you are very comfortable with already, and put on your music, put on your bops. That's what I do. I sing a lot in the car. I have to blast my fucking music, because it is stressful. Oh my God, like the drive back to Phoenix, or like the drive here, driving on the 10 when it's like that, because obviously there's long stretches where like it's not that bad and it's just like the 2 lanes, but it's kind of annoying because then like, you know, it's the whole thing. But then that's why people play games on the road, because they're trying to like stimulate themselves, and I kind of get it too. It is kind of fun to be like, you asshole, you know what I mean? I used to not be like that, but then now I like be saying my shit, because like, you know, I'm like, well, let's play a game, I guess. Anyways, but you gotta play your music. And I do have to give las gracias to someone that I worked with when I was in foster care, when we were doing the home study interviews, and I was asking her about how she regulates, and she gave me an answer I had never heard before. She was like, oh, I love to sing, like I regulate through that. And I was like, you can do that? I was like, singing helps you regulate? I had no idea. Like for some reason I never put 2 and 2 together, and I loved that. And ever since that she said that, I was like, planted a seed in my mind. And then now come to find out that that is really what I'm doing, and that's what a lot of people do. But you gotta have your bops, or if you're a podcast girly, put on your favorite podcast, which I have to switch it up on a road trip. And I'll link my favorite podcast down below. I will, because I always bring it up. Mess, Ride the Pod, and Dear Shandy. I haven't talked about Dear Shandy a lot, but I do. I haven't watched them in a long time, but I do love their recaps. I just think they're so smart, and I love because they watch the type of shit that like I think it's obviously Charlene, but then Andy watches it with her, you know. Fun fact: if anybody has watched The Bachelor, this is why I started watching Dear Shandy, because Charlene was on Juan Pablo's season of The Bachelor. That's a whole nother thing. I need to make a whole nother vlog about The Bachelor. I really do. I need to get into all this. But I started watching The Bachelor because of Ponchito during the pandemic. Here I go. Crazy story, you guys. But I started with Claire's season of The Bachelorette. Or I think that her season was like airing, and I was like, I kind of need context for Claire. So then I watched Juan Pablo's season. That was the first season I ever watched of The Bachelor. And then Charlene was on there, and I had to tell the story. Charlene was on there, and she was a fucking freak. But like, that's how I am. I saw myself basically up there. She was just so like the control freak. I could like see it in her, and she was like, I don't know if neurotic is the right word, but just so in her head, very cerebral, if that's the word. And I saw myself in her, and I was like, that's how I would be. I was like, if I went on the show, I would be like this. I would just be like, so like, you know, it just wasn't meant to be with Juan Pablo. But I also really loved Claire, because she's a Pisces down, and she's so kooks, and she just goes with her feelings and fucking goes for it. So I loved her. And then I watched her season with Tayshia, and that was a whole nother thing. Anyways, why did I start bringing that up? What was the point of me bringing up The Bachelor? Oh, is that anyways, I loved Charlene from that season. And then I don't know how the fuck did I find this podcast? I don't know, but I think I was just looking up Charlene, or like, you know, you're interested in the people that are on the show, like, where are they now? I wanted to see where are they now. And she had a podcast episode. The first one is the story of how she and her husband met, Andy. And I watched this episode, and it inspired the fuck out of me. It must have, obviously it was like after like COVID times. But they had such a cute story. They had such a cute meet cute. Link down below, you guys. I think I had mentioned this to Ayumi, and I think I sent you the podcast episode, because I was like, you need to listen to the story. Like, you need to watch the story. Girl, you live in Long Island. Like, seriously. That's why I'm telling you. Which, the conversation we had yesterday, you know, you're doing that. You're going to the run club. So I'm like, you're going to meet somebody cute. Like, I already know. But anyways, if you're ever in the mood for a really cute story, if you need to be inspired by, again, if you're feeling a little hopeless, if you're feeling down in love, just watch the story and see, like, real love is out there. It's true, and it can really happen. So anyways, yeah, I watched that, and then I just kept by that point their podcast was like 2 or 3 years old already. So then I just started watching like all their more recent stuff, and it's like all about, like, you know, they do their recaps. And I haven't watched it in a minute. Oh, and they do their Q&As, and I love that. It's because, like, they would give advice to, like, I think it's time to go. Jemmy and Chico are, like, literally leaving. Is that a stone? No, huh? Okay, no, don't touch that. Anyways, what was I saying about? Anyways, they do these Q&As, and I love that. Because they were saying that they give good advice to their friends. Like, their friends come to them for advice. So I need to watch it. Okay, so when I'm on this is good. I do need to get ready for this drive. So I'm gonna listen to Mess. The reason why I haven't watched it is because I sent in a voice message. I should probably go check the dogs. I sent in a voice message to them, and they actually did listen to it, and I was so fucking gagged, because I wonder who it was, if it was Sydney or Marie. I had a feeling it was Sydney, but she called me Yap Master Flex, and I really needed that. I was so gagged to be seen by her, but I haven't really like listened to it, because I've been in this like other space. But then also I'm like kind of embarrassed to see if I made it on the pod or if I didn't, because then I'm gonna be like butthurt either way. I don't know, or I'm gonna be like embarrassed. But then also I want to be on the podcast. Anyways, I'm so behind. I feel like I'm so behind in that podcast, so that's why I feel like kind of discouraged. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna listen to Mess. I'm gonna listen to that new episode that just came out with MB, that she's on Stravos, I think that's his name, on his podcast. I did watch There's Marjorie, link down below. Okay, we gotta go. Cause I saw Stravos on So True's podcast, and I did think it was funny. He's not my favorite, you know what I mean? Like, that's not like totally my style of humor. But anyways, they had a podcast episode that just came out, so I want to watch that. And then Dear Shandy, I'll probably, you know what I'll do? I'll listen to it. Their first podcast episode again, because it's been a minute since I've seen it, and I do love this story. Isn't that right, Chico? Oh, you're my kid. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed that TED Talk. I don't know if it really helped. You know what, maybe I'll do a part 2, or I don't know. Let me know if I said anything that was substantial and worthwhile. Oh my gosh, look at this nail. I really need to cut that nail. Okay, bye.